This video is brought to you by Zently. Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is a few days later follow-up video for iOS 11 Beta 5 or Public Beta 4. They're the same thing, same build numbers, and I have to say this time around I'm pretty impressed. I haven't had too many issues whatsoever. I actually haven't rebooted this. I've been using it every single day, all day long, since it came out on Monday. It's now late Thursday at the time of recording this video, and it's really been pretty stable. I can't complain. It's had no issues. I've had no crashes, and everything on here is actually working okay, except for that little delay there. If you see that, when I slide back, it kind of shudders and jitters a little bit, and that happens, and that happened before too. If you leave the screen for a second and then you move it, there's a slight delay, and I don't know what that is, but it's hopefully going to be fixed. Now, everything else within here, I haven't had any issues. If I turn this off, turn it back on, I do have this, the last podcast I was listening to, and I can get rid of that by closing it. Occasionally on the last beta, music would just show up there, even though I wasn't even in the music player or the music app. And this time around, I think I've seen that once or twice, but nowhere near as much as I did before. So far, everything's working okay as far as cameras and apps. I haven't had anything fail. I haven't had a single crash, and I haven't had to reboot. And that's pretty typical of when I'm using a beta. You normally have to reboot every couple days. I have had a couple issues with Apple CarPlay where in Maps it just wouldn't show up, and I've had my data disconnect at least once. Some people have told me that they've had that issue and their data was disconnecting. To fix that, I just slide up, disconnect, or hit airport mode, turn it back off, or airplane mode rather, turn it back off, and we're good to go, and it keeps working. The other thing is battery. Battery seems greatly improved in this one. Before, battery was pretty bad, I thought. Battery now seems to be much better, and this has been plugged in since I usually, when I'm driving, plug it in to use Apple CarPlay. But with it plugged in, it's had 14 hours of standby, 9 hours of usage. Probably I could get about 7 hours of usage without plugging it in. It seems to be pretty good. I used it on cellular data mostly today, and by 2 this afternoon, after unplugging it at about 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 2 this afternoon, I had about 60% left. So it's actually holding out pretty well. And I was using the AirPods with it, streaming video, all sorts of things. So it's working well. Other than that little lag right here, which I'm sure will be fixed by the time it comes out. Oh, and this, I keep installing a couple different apps, and they just don't show up. Sometimes the icon doesn't appear. So those are the little bugs. But for those of you wondering if you can use it now, I would say it's pretty safe to use at this point, especially the public beta. Once you're on that, you'll probably be okay. It is a little bit tricky to downgrade back, so just make sure you have a backup if you're going to upgrade and you're not on iOS 11, so that if you do want to roll back, you can restore from your iOS 10.3.3 backup. So that's just about it. I don't think there's much more than that. Actually, that isn't it. It's been a little bit problematic the past couple days, and while I was working on this video, right after I recorded it, I had my phone freeze up and things weren't working properly. Maps wouldn't connect and had no GPS or data. The same is true for music and my podcast app, Pocket Casts. The icons were not there, as you saw in this video, so I had to actually hard reboot to get this to work properly. So I did that, holding down power and volume down on the iPhone 7 Plus, and that fixed the problem. But I wanted to kind of throw that in there just since it happened right after I recorded this video and wanted to give you a fair update on it. Before we go, though, a quick word from our sponsor. Zently is built for renters, and it's completely free. It's a smart assistant to help you do those tasks that can really take up your time as a renter. She helps you split bills with roommates, automatically pay your rent every month, send fix-it requests to your landlord, and even follow those up with texts and emails. Many renters can use up to 2 or 3 apps to do the exact same thing. Zently does it all by itself for you in one place. It's available for Android and iPhone, and definitely check them out, as if you use them for the first month and pay your first month's rent with them, you have a chance to win a new iPhone. Zently is only available in the United States, and I'll leave a link so you can check it out in the description below. Let me know how it's been for you, though, in the comments below. Also, I'll leave a link to the wallpaper, and thanks to Mirko Kolak for sending this along. He sent this to me. I appreciate it. It's a really nice wallpaper, so keep those coming. Follow me on Twitter and send them to me there. I'll be sure to respond when I can. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.